Hello, and welcome to Sakuramoyu, and let's get started with today's read-through. I embarked on a journey. I swore I wouldn't return until I got Soul back. A small girl took my hand. I boarded the densha, which she said was her tomodachi. The destination hadn't been revealed. This was a journey to save the world. This was a journey to fulfill my own wish. A journey for me to keep believing in myself. Only that remained in my heart.
ここにいても平気なの?
I said to the girl sitting next to me. She'd been close by my side ever since we departed. You know, maybe I should have ended a little later just to get this one. How would I know anyway? I mean last night.
列車には私とあなた2人しかいないみたいだけど。
Is the steering all right? When I asked, the girl nodded, saying, "Yeah, I'm fine."
この子は賢いからね。むしろ私がとやかく指示を出すより、全部をすっかり任せていた方が何かといいんだよ。そうなんだ。うん。そうなんだよ。
The girl kept adjusting the large hat that kept slipping down her face.
餅は餅やと言うでしょ。なんだって、どんなことだって、だいたいそういう風にしておけばうまくいくものなんだよ。きっとね。
What if the densha was one of those Yoru no Ikimono? Imagine being reborn as a fucking train. The girl said that rummaged through the contents of the bag she was holding. Looking inside, the bag was full of sweets. I received a few ame and snacks, and colorful sweet jellies too. Is she only eating things like this? When I asked, the girl replied, "Yeah, that's right," or rolling a candy ame around in her mouth.
でもね、そろそろお菓子にも飽きちゃって。そうなの？何か私の口に合う美味しいものを探してるところなんだよ。別に私という何かはご飯を食べなきゃ死んじゃうようなことはないけれど。
But it seemed that satisfying the desire to eat something delicious was the perfect pastime for killing a long stretch of boredom.
甘いの好きだし、お菓子も好きだよ。でも今はお砂糖の甘さより、なんていうのかな。どちらかというと、体に悪そうな脂っこいものが食べてみたいなって、そんな気分。
I talked with the girl for a little while. Then suddenly I had a premonition that our conversation would break off.
旅はまだまだ続くの？
I asked about the tabby that seemed endless.
そうだね。もう少しだけ。そっか。
So there's still a little more time, huh? If that's the case, maybe I should ask about all the things I find strange.
あなたたちって言ってた。ん？夜の王を倒すのは、そのために集められるのは、私だけじゃない？ああ、うん。たどり着いたその先に、あなたとよく似た子たちが集められる。予定だよ。予定なんだ。そうだね。たった一人で困難に立ち向かうのは寂しくて、未知なる何かを学ぶには、やっぱりたった一人だと大変なことが多すぎる。
So the girl said she would bring companions who could fight and learn alongside me.
できうることなら、その子らと、あの子と、仲良くしてあげてほしいんだよ。そこには、何人くらい集められる予定なの？
Will I be bullied again? What if there's a mean child? This time, I'll have to face it all alone.
あなたたちを受け入れる先の主が、もうこれ以上は無理かなって、そう言い出すくらいは集めようと思ってる。
The girl said it would probably be about 4 or 5 people.
そう。
My anxieties are endless, and the fear of the Mirai is clinging to me more than ever. Nahato. I wonder what he's doing now. If he notices I'm gone, will he feel relief?
で、何？あなたに名前はないの？
Forcing a smile, I tried asking.
ないよ。
The girl shook her head and said, her long braided hair swayed gently.
言ったと思うけど、私は私が何なのかわからない。私はただここにいるだけの何かだから。さあ。
I said that sounded lonely, and the girl said that might be true, but she also said that if you get used to it, it's fine.
孤独っていうのはさ、きっと上手に、丁寧に、慎重に付き合えば、最高のお友達になれる何かなんだって、私は思うよ。
Can I become that strong? I said it, trying to pour that wish into my words.
私も、あなたと同じだったよ。
I didn't know who I was, or what I was, and was always trapped inside the ashiki. The Yoru no Kaibutsu, who gave me a namae. Simply being called Chiwa by the two of them transformed me from a nobody into a kodomo they cherish and raise. It was only for a single year, though. The time we lived as a tree was a treasure I wanted to hold dear. No matter how sad or painful things get, recalling that time in my heart will help me keep going. I must, even if I force myself. Even though I decide not to cry anymore. Thinking of tonight, when the three of us were laughing. Thinking of just a few hours ago. Tears threatened to flow again. Wait for me, Nahato. I promise you, I'll definitely bring Soul back.
着いたよ。
Startled by the girl's words, I roughly wiped away my tears with my sleeve.
ここが夜の王が現れるとされているポイントだよ。そしてあなたがあなた自身の願いを叶える。そのための魔法を得る場所でもある。
My body trembled at the loud whistle. Then it stopped. I got off the densha.
こって。
It was the station of Sanzen Town, the town where we live. What's more, it wasn't the Yoru we just departed from, the terminal station in time. Could it be some kind of mistake? Thinking that, I turned around after stepping onto the platform. I thought the girl was following me.
ごめんね。ここから先は一緒に行けない。
But the girl was standing by the open door inside the densha.
私にはあまり自由がないんだよ。
The girl said, looking lonely.
私は夜の中でもごく限られた場所でしか出歩けないようになっている。どういうわけかそうなってる。
Inside the densha, inside this ikemai, within the grounds of the jinja said to be in this machi. She said those were the only places the girl could move around in. She said you and I are the same. But no, this girl had far, far less freedom than I did.
よくよく聞いて。思いのほか早く到着してしまったから、あまり多くを説明する暇がなかった。
I
だか
nodded.
ら簡単で悪いけれど、必要最低限の情報を今からあなたに手渡すよ。
I nodded and tried not to miss a single word of the girl's voice.
突拍子もないことを言うようだけど、ごめんね。ここは、この3000町は、あなたが暮らしていた町のように見えて、そうではない。あれから長い長い時間を飛び越えた先にある未来の世界だ。
So they went to the future? Oh, it's capable of time travel. Oh, okay. So there's a time mechanic in this VN now. Mirai. Time? Jigan skip? Or Toki, whatever.
行き先は様々だ。次の人生だったり、夜空の星たちだったり、遠い時間のその先だったりにも行ける列車があると聞いたことがあるね。
Oh yeah, they did mention that, but they didn't really think too deeply about that. Okay, so the trains could could be the next life. So obviously somewhere in the future, or planets in the Yozora. Like literally, like you can, I remember the word soul had spoken on the Yoru long ago.
いい？よく聞いて。未来といっても、そう遠い先のことじゃない。
How's not far ahead? I mean, how many years has it been?
車が空を飛んでたり、多くの人たちのほとんどが想像もしていなかった発明が、それまでの常識を塗り替えていたり、そういうことはほとんどない。
It's a long time from now. A generation's worth of human life. The Yoru no O appears within this Yoru, the girl said. A generation's worth. So, let's say average human life expectancy is around like 80, 90. That's still long. That's still long, right? I mean, she basically went like, I don't know, 60 to 80 years ahead. You know what I mean? That's still a long time. And there's one more important thing I need to tell you.
あなたが契約を交わすのは私じゃない。私の役割はただふさわしいだろう子を選び、こうして連れてくるだけなんだよ。
So essentially, it's possible that everyone who met in the the group that fought the Yoronoo, it's possible that they all came from various time, you know, because the she's able to move across time. Not only that, he literally also mentioned go across planets. Maybe she went from the very far future and took someone from Mars. Who knows? I don't know. The girl gave a wry smile, saying that her offer of contract Keiyaku and her outstretched hand were just to test Mayuki.
本当にあなたが取るべき手は、その相手はこの時代の夜を管理する女の人だよ。
He quickly told me that this was the person I had to go visit, all alone, right now. And then the faint ringing of a bell. It's time.
もう行かないと。
The next densha slid onto the station. The sound of a whistle echoed from afar.
ごめんね。私は行くよ。私と一緒に願いを叶えるために頑張る人を探しに行くの？うん。そうだね。時間を飛び越えられるなら。え？私が怪物たちの家にさらわれてくる前にまで連れて行ってくれたらそれでよかったのに。そうだね。そうできたら満点だよね。
Yeah, actually, they could have just done that, right? Oh yeah, they really could have done that, but why not? All right, let's hear the reason. The girl gave a wry smile and said, "Gomen ne."
私にはあまり自由がないって言ったけど、列車の行き先も自由には選べないんだよ。
Yeah, the trains themselves have kind of like have their own thing going on, and Nana-chan is just like the sentient being that you can interact with. I maybe the densha itself, the densha itself is a sentient being, right? But like they can't interact with the densha, like actually talk to it, or maybe, but it wouldn't give them feedback. Unlike Nana-chan, who's essentially acting like like a representative of the train. I don't know, man. There's a lot of things going on.
行きつける先はこのポイントの夜と夜の王と戦うのにふさわしいだろう願いの力を持った子がいる時間。その夜の中だけなんだ。
The densha moved forward, as if drawn to that yoru. The densha's destination is always decided. It can only go where the tracks lead.
できるだけあなたに優しくしてくれる子を選んでくるよ。泣き虫なあなたのことをいじめたり泣かしたりしないだろう優しい子をね。
Literally called you a crybaby just now. And the next kid she brings along is literally her daughter. Anyway. Finally, the girl handed me a small piece of paper. It marked the place I was to go to from now on. A place from this era. Though, putting it into words still made it hard to believe. It was a chizu. Raised so gently and carefully by the two kaibutsu. I could even read simple chizu right now.
それじゃあまたね。なんとなくだけれどあなたとはきっとまた会えるような予感がするよ。
The girl's cute face tightened slightly.
あなたの未来にいつも素敵な魔法がありますように。
Anyway, it's interesting that she ended up traveling a little to the future. I don't know what that exactly means other than she mentions it's a generational thing. But she decided to stay in this current era anyway. So I don't know, man. There's I don't know. Obviously, the mere fact that they brought up time, you know, is gonna get complicated fast. She gave a crisp salute, then shyly grinned a little. The door closed. With a loud whistle and a puff of steam, the Densha departed. I watched it until it disappeared from sight, then left the terminal station at time. And just then, it seemed the time was right. The clock tower's bells rang out. Slowly but surely, Yoru descended. I looked back. The station had transformed into a gakko.
私も行かないと。
That's strange. Being all alone, tears suddenly overflowed. I should have been used to being alone. And yet, sono nanami. The time I spent with the kaibutsu had completely turned me into a crybaby. The morning town, empty of people. It was a quiet time. I trudged along all alone. Looking around, the town Kodomachi certainly looked a little different from the scenery I usually saw. Just a tiny bit, but something felt off. Tatoeba, the tobacco store had become a kumbini. Tatoeba, the sakura along the tree-lined street, which should have been small, had grown large. The world of the future. And this was the town I knew but didn't know. Or so it seemed. Thrown into such a place all alone, completely alone. From now on, I had to live all by myself. No companions, no allies to help me. From now on, what would become of me? Tears overflowed, and they wouldn't stop, spilling drop by drop. I decided I'd definitely get soul back. Demo. I decided I wouldn't cry anymore. Demo. Soul. I'll cry only after Soul comes back. Wiping away my tears, I walked on. According to the Chizu, the destination was quite a distance from the Ikimai. I had been walking for about 2 hours. After walking and taking breaks, I arrived at the building that looked like an old dagashiya. The doors and windows were shut tight, no light and no sign of anyone inside. Was it because it was still early morning, when everyone was fast asleep? I opened the slip of paper I got from the girl. Several numbers were listed there. Aketai Bango. The girl's message was also included. Enter this number into the public phone outside the shop.
公衆電話。
Sure enough, I found a denwa near the shop's entrance. Perhaps many of these slips of paper had been prepared. Some world, some time. Among them, if she met someone like me, the girl prepared many of these to hand to that person. This is one of them. I picked up the receiver and dialed the number into the public phone. Even without inserting a 10-yen coin, I heard a ringtone from the receiver. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings, 4 rings. Just as I was starting to feel a little uneasy. One by one, soft lights began to turn on, one after another. In the windows of the building that had been completely dark until now. It's Yoru. Tonight's Yoru, which should have been asleep, seemed to awoken once more, just for me.
待ってたよ。
Asai-san. The ringing stopped and a whispering voice came from the other end of the line.
ようこそ私たちの夜の中へ。話は聞いてるよ。さあ、中へおいで。玄関の鍵は開いている。
After saying only that, the call ended. A little. I hesitated just a little, but I opened the lit entrance.
私はこの夜を管理する者、
日向井朝日という。正体はそうだな、我が輩は猫であるなんてな。
That person smiled mischievously and said, "Please, take care of me from now on." Tears were
取り戻したい人がいるんです。
so many.
どうかお願いします。私の願いを叶えてください。
One after another. So many.
そうか。
To me, who told everything up until now, while crying. The person nodded as a sign.
悪いな。話が違うと言われてしまうかもしれないけれど、私はね、安易な魔法にはあまり肯定的ではないんだよ。だからまず、私は君たちにこう問わなければならない。君の願いにその魔法は本当に必要なのかな？
Along with that question, the days between my small self and the Yoru no Mahatsukai began. But
ここから先は先輩も知っていると思います。だから多くは語りません。
oh, apparently I didn't know that. So the person who's sending their thoughts and secret and everything is able to actually control it because she was also able to see what she's sending. I thought it was like a passive thing, like Chiwa just was holding Taiga's hand and Taiga just was watching it like a movie or something. I don't know how this works. Just don't think about it. A voice came from beyond the closed darkness, and I opened my eyelids. Chiwa, who had been in a deep sleep until just now, opened her eyelids and was looking at me from the bed.
私たちがまだ仲良くなる前に、幼馴染になるその前に、まだまだお互いにお互いのことをよく知らない中で、およそ10年前の夜の中で力を合わせて夜の王と戦った。ただそれだけの話があるだけです。
Of course, they're gonna skip that because it's like, you know, it's a thing that happened. That's all you guys need to know. Chiwa, who must have been seeing the same Yume, said that and wore a wry smile.
その左手、
Ando Chiwa, the former Maho Shoujo. She seemed to understand, even if vaguely, what kind of circumstances were attached to the palm of the hand I was touching her with. Ah, that's right. From that point on, I know. I believe I also fully understand the events from here on for a while. From here on, the war to save humanity's future began. That's all there is to it. And the war ended. Kodomo gathered one after another. Kodomo each harboring an unfulfillable yume. Everyone literally joined forces, and as a result, we were victorious. It's also true that achieving victory was no simple feat. There must have been countless difficulties in confronting the Yoru no O, the greatest and Sayaku Akumu. Some of my allies got hurt. Arguments were endless because we still didn't trust each other at all. Sometimes we were separated. There must have been countless times I thought it was already over. But we overcame all that and simply achieved victory, yet
夜の王をみんなで倒して契約通り、事前の約束通りに、ようやく私たちは私たちの物語を終わらせられる魔法を得られたけれど、
this is no good. I don't know how everyone else felt.
だけど私にとってはその時にはもう何もかもが遅すぎたんです。
In the darkness of my closed eyelids, Chiwa's Yume for that time was projected once more. The Yozora from about 10 years ago. The giant Yoru no, which had nearly engulfed the sparkling Yoru, succumbed to someone's finishing blow. So many. Countless, I don't know what countless is in Japanese. Its colossal body transformed into fluttering, fluffy petals and rained down across the Yoru city. Flutter, flutter, flutter. A Yozora where cherry blossom, where sakura fell. We all looked up at the Sora, myself included. The war had finally ended. The Yoru-no-O had shattered and scattered like hana. Its appearance was just like that person who had cracked and crumbled in my hands. Each of those fragments was packed with strong feelings scattered from all over the world. Amidst the countless hana raining down on the Yoru, I prayed. Maho. The rites said to be granted only to those who defeat the Yoru-no-O. The privilege of being able to take just one maho to the outside world. Watashi. What kind of maho did I imagine wanting at that time? What kind of kiseki would allow me to erase all the painful and sad things? The precious person I killed. That lonely person I hurt. The maho to offer to those two.
死んでしまった人を蘇らせること。
That was the Saigo no Maho I wished for.
そしてその魔法を使うための代償は
I could also source a payment that would match that. But really, could something more difficult than even such a kiseki truly be made possible with Maho? Would just this small price be enough?
さよならが私は嫌い。もう二度と取り戻せないものばかりだから。
I had so many doubts. Even so, I believed. I clung to the idea that I had to believe. When I closed my eyelids, I remember Sol, Nahato, and me. The short time the three of us lived together. For some reason, I could never forget that last day they celebrated my Tanjobi. My Yume was to get back the sights and the time of that day.
でも
But both now and then, was that Maho truly necessary for it? Just as the Yoru no Mahotsukai had first asked me, I myself no longer knew. Because the person I had wished to bring back,
おかえり、チワ。
beyond the decades I elite through time to fulfill my wish.
長い長いお出かけだったね。でもよかった。元気そうで。
Because
本
that,
当によかったよ。
because that person had waited for my return with an unchanging smile, even without me even needing to bring back Maho.
また3人で暮らしていこう。私たちはこれからもずっとずっと3人一緒の家族だからね。
The real question is, how is he back? No, seriously, how is he back? She didn't even need to use Maho. What's going on?
朝日さんの夢の寝床にたどり着いてから私は一度もお家には帰っていませんでした。
Chiwa had been living at the facility on the mountain until the war with the Yoru-no-O ended. Chiwa said it was because she was scared to see Nahato's face.
ここは私が生まれた世界より何十年か先の未来の世界。私のことを知ってる人はもうほとんど生きてはいないだろうし、もしも生きていたとしても相当なお年寄りになっているだろうと思います。
But the Yoru no Kaibutsu are Fushimi. Time cannot kill them.
きっと何十年なんていう長い時間でもナハトにとってはあっという間で、だからナハトはあの頃と変わらずソルと出会う以前のようにあの家で今も一人ぼっちで生きているかもしれない。
Perhaps there was a possibility he had made new friends and was living with them, but
ナハトがそうしているような光景を私にはどうしてもうまく想像できなかったから。
that's why Chiwa felt she couldn't possibly return home until she knew she could bring the Maho to get Soul back to him.
この世界はいっぱいのおとぎ話でできている。
Chiwa said, with a sigh, a single word.
夜の王をみんなで倒してからが私の本当のお話の始まりだって思っていたんです。もう何も間違えられない、そこから先こそが本番だった。だけど
Maho to bring back a loved one. Clutching such a kiseki, what awaited Chiwa, returning home after decades was. It wasn't Nahato living in solitude, nor some stranger who had newly settled there. It was Soul. The person who should have been dead, the person I should have said sayonara to, was waiting for Chiwa's return. I was stunned. I was even dumbfounded. He had been living as if to fulfill that fantasy all by himself. The one about it would be nice to open a real shop with the three of us someday.
確かにあの人は私の手の中で花に戻って消えてしまった。そのはずなのに。
Of course, Chiwa is said to have pressed him, asking, why?
花です。
Chiwa lowered her eyes and said,
ソルの体がバラバラに崩れて私の手の中に残った一輪の花。ナハトに渡したその花が夜の怪物にとっての心臓で。
as long as it didn't wither, the Kaibutsu wouldn't die. In Yoru, it could revive endlessly, a truly immortal being. Soul is said to have explained that to Chiwa, who was pressing him for answers.
私が家を飛び出してからすぐナハトがその花を桜の木の根元に植えたそうです。あの大きな大きな桜の木です。
Soul's revival took about several years, but his body completely regained its original form.
目を覚ますと私がいない。どこにもいない。その訳をナハトから聞いて、ソルはずっと私が帰ってくるのを待っていたと、そう言いました。
Yoru residents saw Chiwa board a train from the terminal station at time. That cat, that Neko, a bad taste Neko, who liked peeking into lives. The Kaibutsu believed those words, my destination, which I've heard from the mischievous Neko, was the Mirai. In order to get Soul back, I jumped onto the Densha, rumored to lead through time.
どれだけ先の未来に私が向かったのかは、さすがにわからなかったみたいですけど。
However, the Kaibutsu in Yoru was Fushimi. He continued to wait for Chiwa, who had departed for the Mirai. Though an unending nagai no nagai stretch of time. Dozens of years, hundreds of years, Soul is said to have said he intended to keep waiting, even if it was thousands of years into the future.
チワ、君が未来へ旅立つなんていう奇跡を手に入れたのもきっと私が君のことをたくさん傷つけたからだ。
Soul, who had continued to wait for Chiwa, said that.
夜の怪物は決して死なない。なぜならもうすでにこの体に命はないのだから。その事実をしっかりと説明しきれていなかった。そのせいで私は君を傷つけた。私を蘇らせるための方法が未来にある。そう言われたから、それを信じたから。 チワ、君は長い長い旅にたった一人で立ち向かってくれたんだよね。
ありがとう。そして、ごめんね。
たくさんたくさん大変な思いをさせてしまったね。だけどもう平気だよ。何もかもが元通りだ。
Welcome by those words. Ah, that's good. Everything was just a bad dream. We can live together as three here again. Chiwa at that time knew nothing of doubt. Her heart was too straightforward, too much like a young girl. She is said to have done nothing but shed tears of relief.
それから私たちは二人で暮らし始めました。は
Who?
い。ソルと私の二人です。学校に通わせてもらいました。ソルがあの頃みたいに私のお父さんの代わりをしてくれました。
Chiwa offered a wry smile, as if to say she'd managed to grow up safely thanks to all of that.
だけど、ナハトはどこかへ出かけたままお家に帰ってきませんでした。ナハトとはここに、この未来の時間にやってきてから一度も会えていなかったんです。今夜ずっと二人だけで暮らしていたんです。どうしてナハトは帰ってこないのとソルに聞くと、ちょっとあいつとは喧嘩中なんだよとそう言ってましたけど。
Wait a second. I have an idea. How Soul actually revived. This is... Maybe the mechanism is similar to how they did the life exchange. You know how Soul had to give up his life so his daughter would be able to live or something like that? Maybe there's something similar that happened with Nahato and Soul. Huh. Like, they can't coexist. And Soul... There's like a limited time for Soul to live because... I don't know, man. Like... I don't know, man. I'm just thinking, because that kind of mechanic was introduced earlier, so... I don't know, let's go deeper now. In any case, Chiwa had managed to reclaim about half of her old life without any room for Maho to intervene. Soul, whom she thought had died, was alive, but Nahato wasn't there. That was her jinsei.
二人が喧嘩別れをしてしまった理由はどうしても教えてもらえませんでしたけど、私のせいかもしれない。そんな風には何度も思いました。
I broke the relationship. In Chiwa's heart, the regret born from a distant past still felt like it was strongly digging its claws in.
私は10年前の戦いの結果、ご褒美としてもらった最後の魔法の使い道をなくしてしまいました。
Chiwa said, as if correcting herself. His soul was alive and well. There was nothing more to ask for. I had jumped into conclusions, accumulating needless hardship. Doshite. I couldn't help but feel a question arise. At the very least, there were several mysteries here now. Doshite. I wonder. Soul, whom Chiwa believed she had killed by her own mistake, was alive. Yet, from an outsider's view, Chiwa bore no fault for Soul's death. I understand the person involved wouldn't see it that way, but that wasn't what I wanted to discuss here. The Yoru no Kaibutsu who raised Chiwa, even they argue sometimes. I felt it was just an extension of how close they were. Having glimpsed that scene through Chiwa's heart, I couldn't help but feel that way, but... So, why? Then, did Nahato kill Soul? It was tonight. Even my being here with Chiwa began there. Chiwa's otosan, Kazama Ando, was murdered. No need to debate who. It was Nahato, the Yoru no Kaibutsu, who was his otomodachi. Having learned about Chiwa's time, Nahato's actions tonight made no sense to me. Soul was torn apart by Nahato, right?
はい。
I could imagine that scene would have been gruesome just to describe. But by the time I rushed into Chiwa's house, the body was nowhere to be found. It had vanished. Only a large amount of blood stained the room. Crimson. Two mysteries emerged here. First, one thing. I have a question. But can a Fushimi no Kaibutsu be killed by being cut to pieces? I'm pretty sure the only way to kill them is...
人間と触れ合うことですね。
Yeah, soda. A soul really killed. I don't know why, but even if extreme, for them, it might have just been a fight or a falling out. Chiwa hasn't been told what exactly happened between the two of them, so of course I don't know either, but cutting an opponent to pieces or even decapitating them, if Fushimi's class. Something that extent could happen, I guess.
わかりません。
Chiwa shook her head.
二人がそこまでの喧嘩をする理由もわからないんです。ちょっとしたことを言い合うならまだしも。
That's right. Why did Nahato attack Soul? I wouldn't find an answer just by thinking here. It's best to hear the circumstances directly from him. Chiwa? There's just one more thing I'm curious about. One more mystery. Can I ask?
はい。
Chiwa looked up at my face.
それはどんな疑問でどんな謎なんでしょうか。
Did she ask Nazo? Sorry. Thanks to me playing Kingdom Come Deliverance in Japanese, Nazo was particularly used for riddles. I guess it can also use for like mystery or puzzle or okay. Anyway, never mind. I learned some Japanese from KCB too. Anyway, yeah. To be honest, it was a bit difficult to ask, and it would probably be a somewhat out of place question. But if I let this moment pass, I need even more courage to ask this question. So, why, I wonder? I tilted my head and said, "Why did Chiwa come to like me, I wonder?" In all the talk so far, and in the scenes I glimpsed, there seemed to be nothing that would answer this question. I think there is. I think there is. Something about mean dudes who are mean actually like the girl or something like that. If you think about it, I remember that scene. It's not that I'm trying to put myself down. It's just, I can't help but find it strange. Because Chiwa, it might sound strange to say this, but I don't remember doing anything at all that would make you like me. Asking such a question in the first place was already a bit much. After blurting out the words, I started to feel a light-headed shame, or perhaps a sense of how ridiculous it was. No. That's why I ended up stammering. My face felt a little hot.
先輩。
My heart skipped a beat. Chiwa's voice was surprisingly direct.
私が先輩のこと好きになった理由は。
Let me guess, because he was mean to her. It wasn't just her voice or words. Chiwa's gaze looking up at me was just as direct. Chiwa? Her gaze was direct. She simply stared straight at me. And for a moment, Chiwa said nothing but...
きっと
She murmured.
きっと先輩は覚えていないと思います。
Okay. Let me hear what happened. With a hint of sadness on her face, Chiwa gave a small smile. Is that so? But if it was a big of a deal, I'm sure I'd remember, as someone pointed it out. At least he remembers what he did with the promise he did with Hiyori, right? What about Chiwa? What exactly did they do?
違うんです。別にそのことに拗ねたりなんてしていませんし、覚えていない先輩を責めたりするつもりも全然ないんです。
It's so over. He doesn't remember.
ただきっと先輩が考えてるような劇的な何かがあったわけじゃないんです。
Let me guess. You've left your notebook, and he found it for me. He was nice to me, therefore I like him, or some shit like that. Come on, okay.
例えば10年前の戦いほど忘れたくても忘れられない何かがあって、だから私は先輩を好きになったわけじゃなくて、きっかけはただごくごく普通のことです。
Chiwa said it was so incredibly ordinary that she was embarrassed to even mention it.
だから先輩が覚えていなくても仕方がないし、だからこそずっとこの気持ちは秘密のままでいられると思っていたんですけど、手です。
Then, for the first time, Chiwa averted her gaze from me and spoke.
手をつないでくれたんです。
My hand?
はい、今みたいにただこうして先輩が私と手をつないでくれました。それがきっかけです。たったそれだけのことで私先輩のことを好きになりました。
What? Like, I even believe something like, oh, he found my notebook that I lost. He returned it to me. He's so kind, therefore I love him. Now it's like, he held my hand, therefore I love him, because no one touched my hand before. I couldn't touch people's hands before, or something like that. Wait a second. Wasn't there a fucking story that literally had that as the reason why the heroine fell in love with the Shujinko? What the fuck? Wait, that there is one. I remember there's something like that because I can't remember. There's something dangerous about the girl that touching her might actually kill you or something like that. Anyway. I looked at our hands, so clasped together, which she was.
ここは私にとって未来の世界です。
By the way, it all comes back. Remember when they started holding hands in the date? Oh, holy shit! It all comes back. They're building up. They built up from that, man. That's why that's why the whole hand holding was very special for Chiwa. So it's like the equivalent for finding Hiyori in Hiyori's route, I guess. She murmured. Averting her gaze from me, Chiwa spoke, still looking down.
大きな変化の起きた先の未来というわけではないけれど、それでも私にとってここは知らない場所だったんです。勇気を出して頑張ろうと思いました。ナハトにソルを返さなきゃ。そうできない限り私は二人の元に帰れない。
So I worked really hard and vowed to do my best. Once I became an adult, I wouldn't be able to see them again. Where exactly does the boundary exist between a girl and an adult? Perhaps the day would come, even tomorrow. That's why I had to obtain Maho that could bring back important people as soon as possible, and I kept imagining that Maho within the Yoru. And I kept imagining only the Mirai I wished for. The scene of the three of us opening a shop together. Only that happy future.
私はナハトのことを傷つけてしまった。花に戻ってしまったソルを渡した時のあの人の顔が今もずっと忘れられないんです。
Man, I know it's in the TL notes, MLT notes that there was a problem with the pronouns here, like soul becoming a she. What we know he's a dude, but yeah, it's whatever.
いつかあの人が笑っているところを見たいってそう願ったはずなのに、ナハトに笑ってもらうためにもやっぱり私はソルを取り戻すしかないんだって信じて頑張ろう、頑張るんだ、頑張らなきゃ。 でも、やっぱり怖かったんです。知っているけど知らない場所で、誰一人知らない人たちに囲まれて、時には命を懸けて戦うこともあった。きっとすごく寂しくもあったんです。まだまだ小さい私だったから。
But
絶対に負けない。一人でも頑張る。諦めたりは絶対にしない。私をここに連れてきてくれた女の子にも、ナナちゃんにも、そう誓ったから。だから私は絶対に泣いたりなんか。
Chiwa says that my younger self was just as small back then, took the hand of that young Chiwa, who had been straining herself alone like that.
それはまだみんなと友達になって一緒に遊ぶようになる前です。全員がただそこに居合わせただけの他人で、朝日さんから魔法を学んでいた時の話です。先輩と私、どうして手をつなぐことになったのかは覚えていません。きっと些細なことが理由だったはずです。
Maybe it was just something we did out of necessity during Asai-san's Maho lesson.
一人ぼっちでとぼとぼ歩いていた私を見かねて、先輩がこっちだよって、そう言って手を引いてくれただけなのかもしれないし。
Anyway, that's how trivial the trigger was. Even so, Chiwa says, if I force myself to find a reason, it might be because my younger self, like her, also looked lonely then.
おかしいですよね。先輩のそばにはいつも一緒のあの子がいたのに。
Maybe, okay, I thought of another cope reasoning that I could accept. Well, she did say she was lonely, right? And she felt so alone, you know? You know how some people just show them a little kindness and they will fall in love with them even though it was just normal kindness. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that, man. A very lonely person would just fall in love with a person just because they were shown a little kindness. And that happens in real life. Anyway. That girl. I immediately realized she was talking about Kuro. Because the only one who's always been with me, both now and the past, is that girl.
それなのに、なんだか先輩もずっと一人ぼっちで寂しそうにしているように見えて、私と同じ何かを後悔しているように見えてしまって。
Whatever the reason, she held hands with me like that, and then it felt as if we were each filling something lacking in the other. Chiwa says that somehow she felt very, very relieved.
おかしいですよね。先輩のことを好きになったきっかけもあまりよく覚えていないのに、それなのに気づけば私、先輩のことしか見えない子になってしまってました。
I also think about the reinforcement thing about him being mean to her. the subconscious effect of Soul's pep talk. Chiwa smiles shyly.
そんな私をみんなが、幼馴染になれたみんなが、小さい頃も、そして今も変わらず、ずっといろいろと応援してくれてて。
Well, yeah. So this did go a bit overboard, though. I couldn't help but remember Chiwa's Inui costume. Chiwa must have remembered something too. She was smiling faintly. Seeing that smile, I feel the same way. As I nodded. And the same as Chiwa. As I smiled, I can't pinpoint the exact point I started to cherish Chiwa. Nor can I remember it, but Chiwa, Anda, Chiwa. My kawaii Osana Najimi. The girl who tried to step into the adult world just a little bit sooner than me. Feeling her heart so close, I understood my own feelings now. I want to protect you. Yeah, that's right. From now on, I want to protect you forever. That includes, of course, anything external that tries to hurt you, and surely from the heart that continues to torment you, even now, your own regret. Because even the Kaibutsu who raised you would surely wish you wouldn't blame yourself for such a thing. Orewa, I swear to protect you. I'll protect you in the place of the Kaibutsu. I wish we could live together from now on. For that, there's something I want you to hear. Because just now, feeling Chiwa's heart so close, it felt like I had learned Yuki and you. It's always like that, man. Admittedly, that's kind of cliche. But let's see. Chiwa, Skia. I pray that I could cherish and nurture these feelings, which I had finally put into words forever. I gotta lie, that's cliche. I mean, there's nothing wrong with cliches.
先輩
It's just that, I was hoping more, but I guess just like how Chiwa fell in love was very ordinary. I guess for Taiga, it's going to be the same. But I think this route has much more to offer. We still have the big lingering mystery. Chiwa looked at me, trembling. Then she suddenly touched my left hand with her fingertips.
先輩
Migi no Hidari. Anyway, her Tosan, who she lived with until today, had tragically died. That's why tonight she couldn't bear to be alone. Oh man, we know what's gonna happen, man.
今夜は一緒にいてくれますかこうしてずっと手をつないでいてくれますか
You just know. I nodded and replied, and that's what you want, Chiwa. I'll stay with you forever, and I'll hold your hand like this, just like last time.
この前
Like our date the other day. As if remembering that, Chiwa's cheek flushed faintly, and she smiled shyly. I squeezed Chiwa's hand. Then Chiwa murmured,
眠れない夜はこうして手をつないでくれる人がいたんです
Man, this round is gonna take advantage of hand holding a lot. I mean, not just regarding Chiwa, but also, the stuff that happens with like the Kaibutsu. Man, there's gonna be a lot of hand stuff going to happen here. I wonder if there's some symbolism involved. But anyway, I know.
悲しいことがあった日は勇気が湧くようなお話を聞かせてくれたし私が寂しくないようにいつも笑顔でいてくれる人がそばにいてくれたんです
I know that too.
もうその人はもう
Her voice was barely a whisper. Chiwa looked down. I could tell she was biting her lip. It looked like she was desperately trying to suppress something that was about to burst. To Chiwa like that? It's okay. To say it's okay. But I couldn't say it so lightly. Chiwa,
はい
I'll do my best.
あ
I told Chiwa, who suddenly looked up at me. I don't think I can become a replacement for that person. No matter how hard I try, it's impossible. Because no one can truly replace another. But I think I can at least try my best to become like that. Chiwa stared back at me as I said something so obvious. I squeezed Chiwa's hand just a little. From tonight on, so Chiwa can sleep soundly. So Chiwa won't cry from sadness. I hope I can try my best to do all the things that person did for Chiwa. I looked straight into Chiwa's trembling eyes and said, Chiwa didn't say anything back to me, but tightly, she squeezed the hand I was holding back.
先輩
She looked up, gazing at me. I kissed her. Neither knew the timing when to close eyes, who should lean in first, or our teeth clumsily clink. It was our first kiss like that. We both laughed at ourselves. Suddenly the thread of tension snapped. We both felt that sensation.
私、まだまだ子供です。
Chiwa said.
何か怖いことあったら、今でも一人じゃ眠れないんです。お父さんに眠くなるまで何かお話、聞いてもらっていたことも最近だってあったと思います。だけど、これから私が先輩としたいと思ってること、どんなことか、ちゃんと自分で分かってます。
But Chiwa said, looking anxious.
でも私、そういうちょっと寂しがりな心だけじゃなくって、体もまだまだで。だからそんな私のこと、まだまだ子供な自分のこと、先輩に見られるの恥ずかしいです。ちょっと悲しくなるくらい。
As she said that, a single tear spilled from Chiwa's trembling eyes. I followed the path that single tear dropped with my gaze. Nakanaide. I pressed my lips against Chiwa's small cheek. You're kawaii, Chiwa. With you, size doesn't matter. I love everything about you, Chiwa. The Chiwa you've been and will be everything. Zenbu. Chiwa's gaze wavered. Her cheeks flushed red, and she spoke.
そこは、
ん？
いつもみたいに意地悪なこと言ってくれないと変ですよ。なんだか調子が狂っちゃいます。
Oh, really?
そうですよ。
Ja, I guess I should be mean like usual after all.
それは
Alright.
嫌です。
Chiwa patted her lips slightly.
先輩はやっぱり意地悪ですよ。優しくしてくれないと私きっと泣いちゃいます。
I pressed my lips to Chiwa once more. I placed my palm, the hand not holding Chiwa's, on her chest, still kissing her. With her lips still sealed by my kiss, I moved the palm I had placed on her chest. By the way, she mentioned that she was still a child. I guess that's normal for children, I guess. Unfortunately. Or unfortunately, I don't know. Well, no, in real life it's unfortunate. In fucking fiction, you do you. Feeling a small, definite swell in my chest, my palm, I wanted to savor every bit. As my hand moved, she will let out small sounds. I wondered if she disliked it, but her sounds held no rejection. I slowly cupped Chiwa's small swell, found its tip and I felt Chiwa's small body tremble with the jolt.
先輩、そこ、嫌だ。
Oh well. Maybe we could go with something spicy tonight, huh? Doshite, I asked, as if whispering in her ear. Then Chiwa trembling, replied.
だって そこいつも触ると変な感じになるとこで
As I touch her, Chiwa writhed.
それなのにそんなとこ先輩にいっぱい触られると変な感じがいつもよりいっぱい
Chiwa. I blinked. Could it be that you touch yourself like that? Really, bro? You're asking yourself that question right now. Just concentrate on doing stuff on her, not thinking about she did stuff. She must have understood what I meant a moment too late. Chiwa turned bright red, so intensely I almost expected to hear a boing sound. I found myself staring intently at Chiwa's face.
ごめんなさい
Chiwa said, her eyes welling up slightly with tears. Gomen? Why are you apologizing? Before I could even ask, Chiwa slowly shook her head.
違うんです
Huh?
その夜になったらベッドの中で先輩のこと考えちゃう時があってずっと昔からそうだったんです
Thanks for letting us know.
その日先輩とどんなお話ししたっけとか先輩今日はどんな顔で笑ってたっけとかそんなこと寝る前に考えていつからか夜に先輩のこと考えるときそのちょっと胸に手が当たるとピクってなるようになって違うんです先輩違わないけどでも違って
Chiwa, okay, sure. Chiwa answered, though she was completely flustered and rambling.
だからごめんなさい先輩こんないけないこと私嫌いにならないで欲しくて
Hate you? Why would I?
それは
I was just a little surprised, that's all. There's no way I'd hate you. It's just...
ただ
I answered Chiwa, who had cautiously lifted her face. It's a rumor. They say small girls are often perverted. I've heard that before. Christ, Taiga, why are you bringing this up right now? Can't you guys just get to it, man? You're just having this kind of small talk right now.
そんなこと
I kissed her and touched her chest again. I laid Chiwa, who was trembling with a twitch, down on the bed. Chiwa gazed up at me as I leaned over her. I asked her, "What's wrong?" Then Chiwa said it was different again.
違います
In a small voice almost under my breath, she repeats, "That's not it." Oh, almost under her breath, I guess.
私エッチだなんてそんなこと先 先輩のこと思った時しか私
As she spoke, Chiwa's cheeks grew redder and redder. Wow. Chiwa's chest. It's pounding so much. I can tell just by touching it. I took Chiwa's hand, then placed her palm on my chest. Me too. Chiwa, my heart is pounding like crazy right now. Can you feel it? Chiwa looked at my chest, where her hand was touching. She closed her eyes for a moment.
はい。
She nodded and opened her eyes. She was smiling at me with her crimson cheeks.
わかります。先輩、すごいドキドキしてます。
Alright. I nodded too and replied. From now on, I can only think of you, Chiwa. I really feel that way. Saying that, I kissed her again.
あ、
At first, it was just our lips touching, but our tongues met. We began to feel a warm heat in the parts where we touched. And then, I slowly slipped the hand that had been on Chiwa's chest, this time into her skirt. Chiwa had her eyes tightly shut. I also felt her trembling slightly, but I wasn't rejecting. All right, welcome back. There's some important, slightly important dialogue. Slightly. It happened as a post-nut clarity thing. All right, let's look for that. Let's see. Okay, I pulled out from Chiwa. Okay, so he did it inside. Pulled out from Chiwa. We collapsed exhaustively. Our bodies intertwined on the bed. I held Chiwa's hand and stared at the ceiling. Was this really okay? So this is the beginning of the post-nut clarity. That thought lingered. I love Chiwa. I realized the feelings I have for her right here, right now. So of course, I actually don't want to deny myself for being able to be like this with Chiwa. I have people I want to say it. Truly post-nut clarity. For them, I intend to face any suffering or difficulty without hesitation. And that's the resolve I made. So I also believe that doing this now is the right thing. But
ごめんなさい。
huh? Chiwa right beside me narrowed her eyes at me and murmured. She also had her post-nut clarity thoughts.
お父さんが鶴があんなことになって、それなのに私先輩と
Yeah, Soul randomly died. She shared her past after fainting, and then they just had sex. Well, I guess a way to deal with the feelings, I guess. Anyway, I see. I realized Chiwa was thinking something similar to me right now.
先輩とはずっとこうなりたかったけど、それが私の夢の一つだったけど、でも今で本当に良かったのかな。なんだか突然のことに驚いて、昔辛かったことを思い出して、ちょっとすごく悲しくて、一人で夜を過ごすのが怖くて。
Truly, post that clarity.
そんな寂しい気持ちで、悲しい思いで先輩のことただ引き止めちゃっただけみたいで。でもそんなこと絶対になくて、だから私
Alright, it's okay. I understand, really. I touched Chiwa's cheek and smiled. I might not understand all of your feelings, Chiwa, but I think they reach me. I can't truly smile from my heart right now. It's only natural for Chiwa to feel that way and to be anxious. I understand those feelings well enough. No, I wish to understand them even more deeply. And that's why I want to make a suggestion to a trembling Chiwa. Chiwa, there's somewhere I'd like you to come with me for a bit.
これからですか？
Hmm. I look out the window. The Yodo outside is dyed pitch black. It's late already, but I'm sure it'll be for Chiwa's midnight. At least tonight she'll be able to sleep peacefully. I hope it turns out that way. With those feelings, I told Chiwa where we were going. Chiwa looked down a little, thought for a moment, then nodded, saying, I understand. We got ready to go out, held hands tightly again, and stepped into the Yoru to encounter the cause that had made Chiwa sad for so long. And the Chiwa's Akumu is regret. A long time had passed since such feelings sprouted within her, but the night's hue still smothers within her. And I found the place where that regret resides, glimpsing it within Chiwa's heart. It's always been there. Chiwa's heart has always been cowering in this place.
私、ここに来なければよかった。
A precious person, the person who cherished her. In the hand they walked, connected. That person became a chisai hana. That scene from that time was repeated again and again within Chiwa's heart, within Chiwa's Yoru. I led Chiwa by hand and came here, into the slightly mysterious Yoru, or perhaps the dark land of the dead, or a dreamland filled with Yume and Kibo. Chiwa stares intently. That moment replayed again and again within the Yoru, and each time she sheds tears for her younger self.
私が二人の時間を壊してしまった。
Within the Yoru, this is inside Ando Chiwa's heart. A tiny Akumu said, clutching her head, crying. Almost spilling tears, the childish regret still overflowed ceaselessly. But soul was alive. The regret she held at that time, the overwhelming guilt, the Kibo and Maho she clung to. As a result, all of her suffering ultimately ended in vain, but the regret that had budded within her should have vanished once his survival was confirmed. Normally, that's what would happen. That's what should happen. But it's no good.
那覇との悲しそうな寂しそうなあの横顔を私はずっと忘れられない。
That's regret after all. She regrets it. If she hadn't met the Kaibutsu, the scene would never have come to pass.
私が両親に愛されないからといって寂しい気持ちにあえいでさえいなければ。
The Kaibutsu never knew of her, and our time never reached the moment she became a Hana, broke, and vanished. Wait, are we... I'm a little confused by she became a Hana. Anyway. Because the one who became Hana is like, Soul, right? But yeah, I've never reached the moment he became a Hana, broke and vanished. Regret that won't disappear even if she wants it to. The fact that she had deeply wounded someone precious. Surely, the most uncontrollable thing in this world is the state of one's own heart. Even if her mind understands that she doesn't have to suffer anymore, her heart won't allow it, as screams for her to choose to keep suffering. So from now on, Watashitachi. On Chiwa's small clasped palm, I gathered my consciousness to imagine. Then, for just an instant, a dazzling light illuminated the Yoru.
こんな格好必要なんですか、先輩。
Yo, she's back to her Maho Shoujo mode. When the light cleared, a cutely adorned Chiwa stood beside me.
こんなの子供の頃に着るのだって恥ずかしかったのに。
Isn't it weird? Don't stare too much, Chiwa said that, blushing bright red, and looked down. Actually, when I think about it, Chiwa has one of the most Maho Shoujo looking Maho Shoujo outfits. While Hiyori was just kind of okay. You know what I mean? It looks like, you know, a bit more fancy looking outfit, but not like a traditional looking Maho Shoujo outfit. Chiwa has that. Traditional looking Maho Shoujo outfit. Even so, her hand was still firmly clasped in mine, because if we let go of this hand, things would revert. It's hard to explain, but for you, who can't enter and exit the Yoru, to do special things here seems necessary. Asahi-san set it up that way within the Yoru. No, perhaps it's more accurate to say she embedded it within the girls themselves. Hence it's necessary. It's not like I really wanted to see Chiwa's cute figure or anything. Okay, bro. Tabun. Definitely. Oh no. As if to cover up a slight awkwardness, and the satisfaction having achieved that, which was, after all, half of my objective. Half of my objective. I cleared my throat and spoke. Bro, you want to go for another round, I guess? Chiwa, right now, you are my Maho. My wish is for you to feel your own Yume in Nagai. You are the Maho that grants the wish of mine.
私の願い。
Murmuring, Chiwa stares at the Akumu that is herself in front of her.
ごめんね。
Within her own Yoru, Chiwa whispers to the heart that continued to suffer endlessly.
小さな小さなあの頃の私。あなたのことをここじゃないどこか遠くへ送ることにしたよ。
Together with Chiwa, I separated the regret rooted in her heart from within Chiwa's Yoru, and then I put it on a densha and saw it off.
なんだか不思議な体験でした。
Chiwa murmured beside me, still watching the receding densha. Letting go of our joined hands, Chiwa was no longer my Maho.
自分の心の一部と対話するなんてきっとそう何度もできる体験じゃないですよね。
Chiwa and Chiwa's Akumu discussed and chose their next path. Girlhood Chiwa and current Chiwa, now stepping to adulthood. Chiwa's Akumu paid the terminal station of time, with its endless suffering for a ticket destination, a star, a hoshi in the Yoru. While watching the two of them, I tried placing my hand on my own chest. My heart isn't actually located there. The heart is tiny electrical signals in the brain. Does my unreliable heart somewhere in this body also hold Akumu? Is such a heart someone still regretting something even now? If that's the case, how would my Akumu speak to me? Imagining that seemed too obvious, and also too difficult. So we head back. After seeing out the densha until it disappeared from sight, I said that as if sighing. There's no particular need to rush, but it's almost time for Yoru to break.
そうですね。わかりました。帰りましょう。
Simple as that. I walked through the Yoru city, still holding hands with Chiwa. The destination was Chiwa's room. There, I would return Chiwa's heart, which was holding hands with me like this, to her sleeping body. By doing so, Chiwa will wake up in the real world. The Taiyo no Chikan. How about it? Has anything changed even a little? The emotion called regret. That Akumu had repeatedly blamed herself. I cut off that, which was a part of her heart. I stared at my own left hand, Migi to Hidari. This is the result of me thinking about what my role might be. The girls who were once Tokubetsu drawing out Maho, Kibo, to fulfill their yume. That was the role granted to my Migirihari. But Anda Chiwa got lost. I had once lost the way to use Maho. And now, once again, that Maho might be needed. Was Chiwa's Otosan Ando Kazuma truly murdered? I need to confirm that first. And if Maho becomes necessary, then the price Chiwa must pay to the Yoru for it must also be set right. There's still a mountain of things I need to do and think about. So now I thought about that, what I at least could do, and thus proposed cutting out Chiwa's regret, that Akumu. The result of that, with a part of her heart now lost, I can't help but wonder how this world appears in Chiwa's current sight. Like your heart feels lighter than usual, like you're feeling brighter than usual. Is that kind of change within your heart? Could also work with this. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I could go for the special CG from earlier, but like,
そうですね。
maybe there's a better pose. I don't know. I still have to think about the thumbnail. Oh yeah, I'm gonna end after this scene. It's already like 12:48 a.m. I started late tonight. We'll try to do early tomorrow. I'll be working at home anyway. It's a Friday, so I should have a lot more time to work on this. Chiwa suddenly looked up at the Yozara.
今は正直なところよくわかりません。何かが劇的に変わったという感じは今のところは感じないかと思います。ただ、私は先輩に好きだよって言ってもらいましたから。だから今日からは目が覚めてからはどんな毎日になるんだろうって今はそんな風に考えている自分のことをどうしても意識してしまうっていうか。
Her voice gradually trailed off, becoming muffled. When I looked, her profile was also slowly turning red.
でもこんなのダメです。
Chiwa, who had been looking up at the sky, gently closed her eyelids.
だってまだまだ考えなきゃいけないこと、確認しなきゃならないこといっぱいあるのに、それなのに先輩との明日だなんて私何言ってるんだろう。浮かれてなんかいられないのに。
That's certainly true. There's probably a mountain of things we'll have to resolve from now on. Well, yeah. At any rate,
はい。
looking at the future more than the past isn't bad. No matter how, even the Kaibutsu who raised you would be happy. I selfishly think so. I wish for it. So if, just for tonight, she dares to look forward to the future, we officially became a couple. I think it's not bad to dare to be giddy like this for now.
はい。そうですね。
Koibito, huh? That's what it means. Chiwa says, fidgeting. Her expression was so unbearably cute that I almost teased her like I always do. I almost do, but I had to hold myself back.
え？こらえるって何をですか？
Yeah, Gomen. My thoughts just slipped out. So there's one more thing I want you to hear in this vein.
もう一つ？
Chiwa, I'll protect you for the rest of your life. I'll protect Chiwa in the place of the Kaibutsu forever and ever. Chiwa's face turned bright red as her eyes darted around. If I said I'll protect you instead of those Kaibutsu who fell out and left Chiwa alone, would that make you feel uncomfortable? Would that make you feel Would that make you uncomfortable, Chiwa?
どうでしょう。
Chiwa shook her head, saying, "Do desho," and gave a weary smile.
今はただ驚きの方が大きいです。だって先輩、ついこの前までは私の告白冗談だとかそう言って取り合ってもくれなかったのに。
And yet,
一生ってそれはやっぱりそういうことなんでしょうか。
she lowered her gaze, her cheeks bright red.
一生守ってくれるっていうのはその
That's right. It is that kind of thing. Chiwa will allow it. If adults heard our talk now, they'd call it naive nonsense, or say we're out of touch. It'll never work out anyway. A future envisioned by a child who knows nothing of the world is just that. It can't possibly come true. They'll probably laugh at us like that, but I swear it, I tell myself. I swear I don't care what anyone thinks. Let them say what they want. I'll even act naive to show them up. And somehow get them to acknowledge my feelings. I want to talk properly with Chiwa's Otosan again, and with her other Otosan too. For that, if you use Chiwa's Saigonamaho, Chiwa is what you wish for. As I said that, I squeezed Chiwa's small hand tightly. Chiwa stared intently at their clasped hands, and then...
私
ん?
私はこの夢のことを覚えていないんですよね。目を覚ましたら全部忘れてしまう。
That's right. That's what will happen.
先輩が私にたくさんいっぱい嬉しいことを言ってくれるなんて信じられないです。本当に夢みたいです。でも私はこんなに嬉しい気持ちも全部忘れてしまうから。そっか。だから先輩は恥ずかしがり屋なはずの先輩は夜の中では平気な感じで私に嬉しい言葉をいっぱいくれるんですね。どうせ忘れちゃうからって。だって先輩は意地悪だから。
Okay. Her lips were pouting. Chiwa said that with a mischievous smile. Then again, this time, in the real world, the daylight. I'll tell you the same thing once more, Chiwa. I think this could even be called a proposal. I'll tell you with the same words, the same feelings, as many times as it takes. I led Chiwa to her bed. Nedoko. And we exchanged temporary goodbyes. Chiwa, when you wake up, let's talk about all sorts of things for the future together. The second of Maho you wished for and sought all this time. The Maho to revive a precious person. If you want to use it now, there's a price. How have you decided what you'll pay for it, Chiwa? When you wake up, I want you to tell me again. Chiwa's time flowed into me from our class hats. Her heart. But that alone remains unsolved. Otherwise, I can't safely get my permission for your Maho. Chiwa?
先輩。
Huh? Nani?
私の最後の魔法の使い道。そして対象の話。今すぐには答えを出せないけれど。
Alright.
私少しだけ怖いです。
Chiwa lay down on the bed. Nedoko. She tightly gripped my hand, not letting go. Scared? どうして?
なんだかわかりませんけど、少し、ほんの少しだけですが、嫌な予感がするんです。
A bad feeling.
はい。
Staring intently into my eyes, Chiwa said,
ここはまだ夜の中ですよね。
That's right.
夜、心で想像できるすべてのものを形にしてしまう夜の国。今、私がつい想像してしまったり感じてしまっている嫌な予感までどうしようもないくらい形にされてしまうんじゃないかって怖いです。
Chiwa suddenly averted her gaze from mine, just slightly.
だって私のお父さんはきっと。
Chiwa said nothing more, falling silent. What could Chiwa have imagined just now, without asking her about it? It's okay. I gently stroked Chiwa's forehead, her face etched with worry. It's okay, Chiwa. I like that story that Kaibutsu told you.
あの話？
Unseen, unheard. When sad or hurting, someone is always there, lending strength for their lives to go on well. Because I, too, can feel someone's presence, their heart, by my side. So it's okay. Surely everything will work out. But now, that. Why is it? I can't quite remember it anymore. Mystery person again. Oyasumi, Chiwa. Mata ashita.
はい。
I'll come pick you up in the morning.
はい。
Chiwa nodded and smiled.
おやすみなさい、先輩。
Oyasumi nasai, Chiwa. I pray that wonderful Maha will always be by your side. We gently joined hands, then let go. I have to call it in here. Oh, man. I wish I started early today. So much work. Tate. Wait. Oops, I accidentally clicked. Stepping out of Chiwa's shop, I scratched my head in the middle of the Yoru thoroughfare. Okay, that's it. Anyway, I hope you guys are watching, and I'll see you guys on the next upload. Ciao.
じゃなく